the Koreans. But when the American referee Sochar blew his final whistle, Italy had not only recorded their first victory, but exorcised a Korean ghost. Argentina won easily in the Olympic Stadium to top the group. This was a match in which it became clear that Argentina were no one Maradona band. Valdano's instinct for open spaces and for goals was matched by the selfless, creative work of Jorge Burruchaga in midfield, and the defensive resolution of Jose Luis Brown. Bulgaria seemed to be content to keep the score down. That way, they might just squeeze into the second round for the first time in their history. They sent out a team with 7 midfielders and not one established striker. They created not one serious goal attempt and got what they deserved. Maradona, of course, also played his expected part. As expected, Argentina and Italy emerged as the major forces in the group. Both unbeaten, Argentina on top with 5 points to Italy's 4. South Korea offered some splendid skill, highlighted by Choi's spectacular goal against Italy. Bulgaria's approach much more negative, and they were fortunate to progress as one of the third-place teams with 2 points and a respectable goal difference. What would home advantage mean for Mexico in the second group? No problems with the altitude in Mexico City. No country had ever been more thoroughly prepared. The players had been together for a year under their coach from Yugoslavia, Bora Milutinovic. The draw had been kind for Mexico. Belgium, under the wise management of Guy Thys, were strong candidates to qualify as well. Paraguay were painted as the outsiders in the group, and Iraq expected to be the weakest of the 24 countries involved in the competition. Mexico's first match, on paper, their hardest, against Belgium. Belgium had bitter memories of their World Cup duel with Mexico in the 1970 finals. They lost on that occasion amid refereeing controversy, and they lost this one too. Mexico exerted all the early pressure, and the Belgian defence wilted. Thomas Boy was running the midfield and created the Mexicans' 2 first-half goals, both from set pieces. Mexico's star striker Hugo Sanchez had brought a worrying ankle injury home with him from a season in Spain. So the roar which greeted his goal, Mexico's second, echoed around the country, in which almost everyone who was not at the game was glued to a television set. Belgium pulled 1 goal back just before the interval, but failed dismally in the second half to build on that rare success. Any appetite for a fight seemed sadly lacking. Paraguay were in the finals for the first time since 1958, with no great expectations. Iraq had sacked their Brazilian manager Edu shortly before flying to Mexico, and they were expected to be even weaker. The only goal fell to Julio Romero, Paraguay's midfield general, who'd starred, like Maradona, in the 1979 World Youth Cup in Japan. Now he demonstrated why he had graduated to become South American Footballer of the Year. Mexico's manager, Bora Milutinovic, came from a famed football family in Yugoslavia. He'd been granted the luxury of keeping the Mexican national team together for almost 6 months. The cohesion achieved was evident after only 2 minutes at the start against Paraguay, Boy was again the creator, and Luis Flores the scorer, demonstrating why he was known locally as the Mexican Paolo Rossi. It was a double helping of bad news for Mexico in the second half. Not only did they concede a late equaliser to Romero, but Hugo Sanchez collected his second yellow card of the tournament. He'd missed the group decider against Iraq. Romero was one of the early stars of the event. 3 points in the bag, the second round already beckoned for Paraguay. Iraq's new manager, appointed shortly before the finals, was the Brazilian Evaristo. He'd starred in Spain in the early 60s with Barcelona and Real Madrid. After retiring as a player, he earned a big reputation coaching in the Middle East. He knew everyone else expected to beat Iraq and run up a hatful of goals. He made no secret of Iraq's approach to the World Cup. He said, "We didn't come here just to make up the numbers. Cup football is a tough game and we play tough." Belgium's artists like little Enzo Scifo had the bruises at the end of the day to prove that Evaristo's players meant what their manager said. Predictably also, Belgium's second goal came from a penalty, courtesy of Nico Klaassen. Iraq's continuing defiance meant that they finished the game not only in defeat, but with 10 men. They also took advantage of Belgium's complacency to claim an excellent goal of their own. The quality of the football in this match left a lot to be desired. The result was just what another 100,000 plus crowd in the Aztec Stadium demanded. The absence of the suspended Hugo Sanchez did little to mar Mexico's performance. The rest of the side concentrated on teamwork rather than looking for Sanchez, a dental student in Mexico, before finding footballing fortune in Spain. Centre-back Fernando Quirarte, who'd scored Mexico's opening goal of the finals against Belgium, put his name on the score sheet again. Only 10,000 fans turned out in Toluca for a match which was a mathematician's delight. The complexities of the qualifying system meant Paraguay were already certain of progressing to the third round. Belgium needed only to avoid a defeat of disastrous proportions to join them as one of the 4 best third-place teams. Paraguay relied on individuality to recover lost ground. Centre-forward Roberto Cabañas collected the equaliser by springing the Belgian offside trap. Belgium was steadily improving with every game. Their veteran manager Guy Thys had taken them to the final of the European Championship in 1980, to the finals of the World Cup in 1982, and the last 8 of the European Championship again in 1984. Thys had to rebuild his team around reliable performers from the past like Erik Gerrits and Jan Keulemans. The referee Bogdan Dochev was a violin-playing police inspector back home in Bulgaria. The tune he played in Toluca was not always to the Belgians' liking. Much of that was their own fault. After awarding a free kick, Dochev clearly indicated with the raised arm that it was indirect. Schifo's goal did not count. Belgium's own defence